Can one man cheat death not once, not twice, but 7 times? The story of Wenceslao Moguel is one of the most unbelievable tales of survival you'll ever hear. But is it true? Tonight, we're diving deep into the legend of El Fusilado, the executed one, two separate facts from the fantastic folklore. The year is 1915. The Mexican Revolution is tearing the country apart. Wenceslao Moguel, a young soldier fighting for Pancho Villa, is captured by enemy forces. The verdict is swift and brutal: execution by firing squad. There's no trial, no appeal, just a wall, a line of rifles, and the end. Picture this: Wenceslao stands against a cold stone wall. He's just a boy, really. The command is given. A volley of 9 bullets rips through the morning air, and Wenceslao collapses, his body riddled with holes. The soldiers approach, assuming their job is done. But just to be sure, a commander draws his pistol and delivers the coup de grace, the final shot right to the head at close range. He is left for dead, another casualty in a bloody war. But this is where the story defies all logic. Hours later, under the cover of darkness, Wenceslao begins to stir. Miraculously, he is alive. He crawls away from his own execution site, seeking help. He finds his way to a church where he receives basic medical care. He survived 9 bullets from the firing squad, plus 1 more to the head, and he lived. The story quickly spread, becoming a legend. In 1937, Robert Ripley, the creator of the famous Ripley's Believe It or Not, heard about Wenceslao. Ripley was a master of the bizarre and the unbelievable, and this story was his holy grail. He tracked down the middle-aged Wenceslao in Mexico. In a now famous radio broadcast, Ripley brought Wenceslao on air to tell his story to the world. The audience was captivated. Ripley even had a doctor on the show to verify the gruesome scars covering Wenceslao's body and face. The evidence seemed undeniable. Photos from the time show Wenceslao pointing to a massive disfigured scar on his cheek, right where the officer's bullet supposedly passed through his head. He became an instant celebrity, the man who stared death in the face and laughed. But here's where the controversy begins. As the legend grew, so did the skepticism. Historians and medical experts started asking questions. How could anyone survive such an ordeal? A shot to the head at point-blank range is almost invariably fatal. The chances of a bullet passing through the skull without hitting the brain or a major artery are astronomically small. And what about the other 9 shots? The story claims he was hit by a full firing squad. Military firing squads are trained to aim for the chest, targeting the heart and lungs for a quick, certain end. For all 9 bullets to miss vital organs seems less like a miracle and more like an impossibility. Let's look at the evidence. The most compelling piece is the scar on Wenceslao's face. It's certainly dramatic, but what if it wasn't from a coup de grace? What if it was from something else entirely? A ricochet? A piece of shrapnel? A completely unrelated injury that conveniently fit the narrative? Without modern forensic analysis, which we can't perform, we are left with only the story and the scar. Then there's the number of executions. The legend often inflates to claim he survived 7 different executions. This is where the story truly enters the realm of folklore. The most documented account, the one Wenceslao told Ripley, speaks of 1 firing squad and 1 final shot. The 7 executions claim seems to be a later embellishment, a classic case of a good story getting better with each telling. It makes for a great headline, but it has little basis in the original account. So what really happened that day in 1915? Let's explore some alternative theories. One theory suggests the firing squad intentionally missed. In the chaos of the Mexican Revolution, loyalties were complex. Perhaps some of the soldiers knew Wenceslao or sympathized with his cause. Maybe they aimed to wound, not to kill, staging the execution to satisfy their commander. The officer delivering the final shot might have been in on it, or simply a poor shot himself, aiming hastily and missing the critical parts of the brain. It's a compelling idea, but it's pure speculation. Another, more cynical theory is that the entire story was a fabrication, a brilliant piece of self-promotion. Wenceslao was a survivor, no doubt. He lived through a brutal war. Perhaps he sustained a serious head injury, and over time, a more dramatic story was crafted around it. When Robert Ripley came looking for unbelievable tales, Wenceslao gave him the best one he had. Ripley, in turn, had no reason to question it too deeply. It was exactly the kind of story that made his brand famous. The more unbelievable, the better. Think about it from Ripley's perspective. He wasn't a historian. He was an entertainer. His business was astonishment. Wenceslao Mogel was injured in the war isn't a great headline. Man survives execution by firing squad is a showstopper. The incentive to believe and to promote the most dramatic version of events was huge. So we are left with a fascinating puzzle. On one hand, we have the eyewitness account of the man himself, broadcast to millions, and the physical scars that seem to back it up. We have the endorsement of Ripley's Believe It or Not, a global authority on the strange and unusual. On the other hand, we have the cold, hard logic of medicine and ballistics. The sheer improbability of surviving such an event pushes the story to the very edge of belief. The lack of official military records from that chaotic period means we can't verify the execution order or the report. The story exists almost entirely in the realm of personal testimony and legend. So what do you believe? Was Wenceslao Mogel the luckiest man who ever lived, a walking miracle who defied death itself? Or was he a clever opportunist who spun a wartime injury into an immortal legend with the help of a master showman? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Maybe he was sentenced to death, shot, and through a 1 in a billion chance, the bullets missed everything vital. Maybe the officer's final shot was real, but it was a glancing blow, not the direct hit the story claims. The reality could be a complex mix of incredible luck, wartime chaos, and storytelling flair. The story of Wenceslao Mogel y el Fusilado teaches us that sometimes the line between history and myth is incredibly thin. It's a testament to the human will to survive, but also to our love for a good story, especially one where an ordinary man accomplishes the impossible. Whether fact or fiction, his legend has survived for over a century, and it continues to make us ask, believe it or not? What do you think happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into a historical mystery, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more.